Good morning, gladiators. Welcome back. It's Thursday. I really hope you enjoyed your half day off yesterday, but more importantly, I hope that you got something great out of your morning grit lesson. I know that the teachers work really hard on putting those together, so I really hope that you enjoyed it. So, anyway, I missed every single one of you, and I'm glad that we are going to be together again today. So, let's get started. So we are getting on the Trans-Siberian train. It's the longest railway that is in Russia or that has ever been built. So we're going to get on that train, learn a little bit about Russia, go through those Ural Mountains that we've been learning about. So today what I want you to do is watch this video just to gain some understanding of the geography of Russia. Then the next thing we're going to do is we're going to review the slides of Russia. I'll go ahead and download it. So we'll learn a little bit about not just their geography, but the people. We'll learn about just very little about their culture, but mainly about the people and the geography. How currently they have 143.4 million people. Their GDP is 9,800. We're going to talk about that. If you compare that to the United States, that's a huge difference. You have the United States at 40,000. The life expectancy is at 67.1, where in the United States is 77.7. Why do you think that is? Let's talk about that. I know that I've mentioned a little bit about Putin, we've learned a little bit about who he was before. We've even talked a little bit about what Russia was like before Putin, right? The dictatorship that they had. So we'll talk a little bit more about that so you can have a better understanding as we travel through Russia. All right, so which country has a higher standard of living? It's quite obvious that it would be the United States. Which country is bigger? If we look at the square miles, you're going to notice that the mileage or the square miles is actually higher in Russia. And which country has a higher population density? So the population density is we have 143.4 million people and 313 million. So there's a huge difference. All right, so let's go through this really quick. All right, so this is a physical map of Russia. So you'll notice that it's a very big country. It's not a continent, it's a country. They consider it a little bit of Europe and a little bit of Asia, but it's a huge country. Here are the Ural Mountains right here that we have talked about, that it sets as a natural boundary. So on this side you have Europe, the Northern European Plain, which is a mountain-free region, right? And then on this side is obviously Russia. But you'll notice that Russia also kind of collides with Asia. So why is that? Why are they sitting on both? Well, it's because they have such a big vast of land. Okay, so we'll locate what part of Russia is called Siberia. So we'll talk about that today. And what is the land like in Caucasus countries? So we'll talk about that as well. If you look at this key here, you'll notice that the elevation, when we're talking about the type of location or the type of map, anytime you're reading a map, you always want to look at that title, but more importantly, look at the key to see what is it trying to tell you. What is the map trying to explain? We're going to discuss that in class today. So Russia actually has quite a bit of resources. You would think for a country that has this many resources that everyone in that country would be doing well. They have regions where they're in timber, right? They're logging, diamonds, gold, even oil resources. So let's talk about that. This is a better map. I actually like this map much better than the other because it kind of gives you a better picture of how big Russia really is. You'll see Kazakhstan here, Mongolia. Europe's going to be on this side. Here's China. Okay. So physical geography. So we know that I said a few minutes ago that Russia is the largest country in the world. It's almost twice the size of the United States, and it's divided by those Ural Mountains. The Ural Mountain stands as a natural boundary. So on the right, you have Asia. On the left, you have Europe. And remember, we're talking about cardinal directions. If we're going left, we're going west. If we're going right, we're going east. Okay, most of Russia's population is settled west of the Ural Mountains, and Moscow has a very dense population while the subarctic and tundra areas are low. Why is it that the subarctic and tundra areas are low? Perhaps it's because of the snow, right? The regions, it's a tundra region. It's very cold. It's hard to live in those areas. But you would be surprised to know that there are actually people that do live in those tundra areas. And we'll learn about those next week. So the Volga River is the longest European river and it's Russia's most important river. Why is that? It's because we have learned that not only is it available for people for fishing and irrigation, but more importantly, what's more important about rivers is the trading, right? People can trade. You're able to go back and forth from country to country and get the resources that you need. Lake Baikal, it's the world's deepest lake. It's deep enough to hold the same amount of water in all 5 Great Lakes put together. Very deep lake, and I'll show you a video on that today. So again, here's a picture of Russia, and here are the Ural Mountains. Lake Baikal is going to be located down here, and here's Siberia. You'll see by the snowflake, it's very cold. It also sits near the Eurasian plate. So here you have the Ring of Fire. This whole area here, these are where all the active volcanoes are. There's earthquakes, there's hot springs. So we'll talk a little bit about that. Not much today because we have talked about the Ring of Fire before. Again, their natural resources are farmland, timber, copper, gold, diamonds, coal, iron, and oil. I don't like the way that looks, so I'm going to fix that. But we'll talk about it again. Why is it if they have so many resources, then why is that GDP so low? Why is it that the people aren't making as much? Because they're producing coal, they're producing oil. So what is happening here? Why is that GDP so low? Let's talk about that. We know that in coal plus iron equals steel. Again, with those resources that are available, you would think the country would be doing much better. Now, don't get me wrong. There are other parts. There are some parts of Russia that do very, very well. But for the most part, you would think with all the resources that they have available to them, that the whole country would do well. So this will give you an idea of where these resources are being produced from. Obviously, here's your volcano, your earthquakes right here. Here's Kazakhstan. Okay, and we notice that there is shrinkage of the Aral Sea. So in 1960, the Aral Sea was the 4th largest lake in the world. Think about that, 1960. That wasn't a long time ago. Okay, it was a little bit before I was born. I'm not gonna tell you how old I am, but it was a little bit before I was born. But still, it's still not a long time ago, right? It's really not. If you think about it, 1960 wasn't a long time ago. So look at how the lake was. Look how deep it was. And then in 2003, it started shrinking. But look at it now. Why is that? I want you to click on this link here and see the time lapse of the video, and you're going to see how it's starting to shrink. Why is that? There is a reason for it. Here's some images. It's a very sad image, but these are some images of what once was sitting in a lake. It's very sad. And then there's Russian human environmental interaction. So we'll watch this video, Russian oil exploration in the Arctic and the Arctic threat video. Very short videos, please watch them. Okay, all right, so let me explain to you what you're going to do. Today, you're going to use this map. And of course, you can use any political map that you want. It doesn't have to be the map that I provided for you. And you are going to label all of these. Okay? Just remember, whatever you're labeling, you have, or whatever map you use, you want to make sure that all of these are in there. Okay? On my map, you're going to notice that all of these are on there. Okay? All right, my angels, that's it. That's all we're working on. I can't wait to see you in a bit. Have a good day.